Nigerians have also been patient for about 9 months now, going to 10. And, you know, the party made a lot of promises when campaigning, when President Bola Tinubu was campaigning. But within these 9 months or 10 months period, no matter how you want to put it now, is there any of these promises made by your party and indeed the president that Nigerians can really point to, touch and feel?
For everything the president spoke about, to revitalize this economy, and that is the starting point. Without an economy, there can be no nation. Without a bold and courageous step taken by Mr. President, the removal of the fuel subsidy, the floating of the naira, remains the greatest plank on which every other thing shall be added onto.
But all of these have
brought
untold hardship.
Hardship will come. My dear brother, the making of an omelette begins with the breaking of the eggshell. To the eye of the person saying it, oh, you have done nothing. To a man who takes his cloth to the tailor to be made a dress that you and I are wearing, when it is being designed, the first impression is that they are destroying your shirts. They are destroying your material. There is nothing that is not going to start with hardship. But the good news, the good news is that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And that is the hope we should have. And I must tell you, our meeting with Mr. President did not just renew our hope. It was a reassurance of our hope. And we left there with an insured hope. And I can tell you, there was something Mr. President said, which I took home. He said, whatever good that is needed to be done to move Nigeria forward, he was going to do it. That he has pledged his life, he has pledged his time, he has pledged his effort to make sure that he takes Nigeria to the pot of splendor which he promised us.
Okay, and speaking of that meeting, you know, you are one of those that also believe that the president should not maybe be solely held responsible or accountable for some of the things happening in the country, because you said that the president should also begin to hold people to account, people saddled with positions of responsibility, people put in authority, like the service chiefs. Are you saying that the administration has not done so well in holding a lot of people to account? Because we have people running institutions, we have service chiefs, but we can see the insecurity, and, you know, all of that. Are we trying to say that, you know, it's not holding their feet to the fire?
I think if you listen to our press briefing there and the summary of the humble advice we gave to Mr. President, is that our own party has been put in very bad light. And it's not something you can just say, let us overlook, because we are all living witnesses. And I use this opportunity to sympathize with the parents of the family of the over 250 pupils in Kaduna, in Kuriga, in Chikun local government of Kaduna. I am a parent, I'm a father, and I know what it means if I don't see my child today. And to hear that over 250 people have been abducted is a painful thing. I know the pains of all Nigerians. But what we are saying and what we said on that day is that, yes, Mr. President is the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But nobody should expect Mr. President to take AK-47 and get into the forest or get into these troubled areas to fight these bandits. Mr. President, the constitution of this country has put security agencies. Yes, you can say the hierarchy starts from service chiefs. It doesn't end there. At the national level, down to the state level, to the divisional level, you have the DPOs, to the units of every police station. We are saying that people that have been saddled with this responsibility should wake up, and when they fail in living up to expectation, they should be held accountable. And those that cannot perform, Mr. President should wield the big stick. We say that conscious of the fact that in the previous administration, still under our party, service chiefs, some even overstayed their time. Some have even overstayed their retirement age and were meant to stay for too long. And a whole lot of things set in.
Even when it was clear that they underperformed.
Even when, by the estimate and judgment of most Nigerians, they underperformed. So we are saying, Mr. President, we want you to know that Nigerians are judging you, judging our party, based on the performance of these people at the front line of security. And we are appealing to Mr. President by way of advice that please, for those that cannot perform, please wield the big stick. That is the message we took to Mr. President.
You also said that these are activities of criminals that are determined, or these activities are perpetrated by criminals who want to put this administration and the government in bad light. Are you then saying the opposition is responsible for this?
I don't want to.
Are you saying that it's politics?
I don't want to blame anything on the opposition because I don't know the number of criminals that have been arrested and the color of the political alliances or position they align with. However, every criminal must be treated as a criminal. That is our position. And we came very united. And let me speak as Alphonsus Ogaeba. 10 years ago in 2014 precisely, the abduction and kidnap of the Chibok girls took an international dimension that brought the Jonathan's administration to its knees. With this happening again, it was said that if fire can consume the tortoise with the iron coat, what will it not do to the fowl that wears a feathered gown? PDP was entrenched in this country for almost 16 years. And if that scandal could come and take PDP out, it becomes an early warning for some of us who are very determined because APC appears to be our bus stop. We are doing everything because we came from PDP to this APC. We promise change. We want to see that Nigeria truly move from its point where it is to the best.
As it stands today, with all of the things happening in the country, if there is an election today, some people have said that the APC will lose.
I am not a clairvoyant, and those are saying that
do not
also have the power to say that. Because for a man who has been brought by God, it is only God that can take him out. But from what I see about the present president, he was truly brought by God. If you watch the obstacles against his emergence, and if you listen to the book recently that was written by the nation man, Sam Omashe, you would know. And if you take it down, you will know that when God is involved in your matter, there is nothing that can stop
Nigerians
you.
Voted.
So it is not just about APC.
My question
Let me take a step a little.
Does he still have the support of that number of Nigerians?
He has even much more than that. The president today has even much more than that. If you do election today, he will get more than the 8 million votes he had before. That is the truth. And don't forget, the circumstances in which the president came on board, nobody believed that he could come with this sincerity and this courage to confront this monster called subsidy. That he has shown this, not only does he have local and national acceptability, he has international acceptability. And that is why Nigerians want to give him the whole full swing of not just 4 years, but 8 years. And I promise you, God keeping us alive, we will come back here in 2031, and you have reason to share a bottle of Coke with me and say, my brother, you were the Nostradamus we never knew of. You came and told us that the president will perform, and truly the president has performed. This is the man that can take us to our El Dorado, that can take us to our port of splendor. The ship is already sailing. All we appeal to Nigerians, even in the face of this hardship, is to bear some little patience. We know it is challenging. We are all feeling the brunt, but we appeal to all Nigerians. It will get well. And the opportunity of that meeting, the president told us very clear. The consumer credit scheme, the student school loan, the conditional cash transfer, that why he is charging us as chairman of party to leave political divide and go back to our respective areas with a charge to make sure that Nigerians enroll in the national identification number is to ensure that we have a proper data so that the poorest of the poor can benefit. And as I speak with you, by Wednesday I'm returning to my state, and we are setting out immediately in the entire 3,281 polling units to make sure that the PDP people, the Labour Party, the APC people, as far as you are poor, and because poverty does not have color, have race, religion, or tribe, we shall carry everybody along. And I must thank the understanding governor I have in my state, who is already running an all-inclusive government. And I know by the time other governors at the subnational level can complement the effort of the federal government, Nigeria will be a better place.
Speaking about complementing the effort of the federal government, you know, you said President Tinubu charged you or for your forum to go back to the states, explain the policies, plans, and programs of the government, and also urge the people to key into it. There's also this general perception that, you know, the government at the subnational level has not done enough in supporting or complementing the efforts of the government. Now, not just maybe in terms of elected leaders. Now we're talking about leaders across all spectrum, including political parties and the likes. Would you give leaders at the subnational level a knock for not doing enough?
I don't know who has passed that judgment, but I don't think it's perspicacious enough. Because I take, for example, in my state, Cross River State, my governor is complimenting every effort of Mr. President. When he talked about
Cross Rivers,
no, I will take Cross River. I will take other states. I will take. Okay, let me take Cross River from the south. Let me take Niger State from the north. Let me take Lagos from the southwest. Let me take Abia from the southeast.
They are still a handful.
No. If you want me to take one by one, I'll be able to mention categorically the developmental projects they are all doing to complement the effort of Mr. President. But that means I have to take about 5 hours with you. But what are we talking about? There was hunger in the land. The federal government sent grains, sent money. State governments were able to multiply that by 3-4 times to complement that. Only recently, the governor of Cross River State paid WAEC fees for almost every child that registered in Cross River State. He increased salary by extra 10 to 15,000 on every salary and has recently started political appointment in the state just to make sure that hunger is being, the pains of hunger is being attenuated. And these are cross-party lines. Members of Labour Party, members of PDP, members of APC, today have appointment. What Nigeria needs now is a governance that is all-inclusive in nature. And that is what the state governments are doing. Only last week, I watched the governor of Niger State launching full agro-mechanization. And like Mr. President told us in that meeting, agriculture is the way out. And I agree totally. Sitting here before you is a farmer. I'm a herdsman. I keep native cow. I do rice cultivation. I do cassava. I do yam. I still practice as a lawyer. People must work very hard, and that is a charge Mr. President has given to all of us. So it is a collective duty. You can see what the governor of Lagos State is doing.
The people are ready to farm. They are ready to go to the farmland.
The people are ready to farm.
The farmlands are no longer safe.
No. There is a new agenda in that direction. I must commend the Minister of Agriculture of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kyari. Recently, in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria, fertilizers, chemicals, seedlings are being released to support farmers. Various state governments, like today in Cross River State, we just concluded the soil mapping exercise. And they are doing soil clearing. They will be kept safe, and that is where the issue of insecurity comes in. We told Mr. President in that meeting that whatever effort you are doing about food security, it will amount to nothing if there is no security. And that brings me to the question of commending the new initiative of the federal government on the issue of community policing. People call it state police, but I want to go down to the grassroots. It should be a community policing engagement. It might not wear the nomenclature of what the Nigerian police force does, but it should have an engagement where people at the local level, where everybody knows one-on-one to be involved. And when strangers come into the community, you'll be able to identify. Few years ago, I went with my bare hands, and it is a matter of fact in Cross River State in Yala local government where I come from, to chase kidnappers that came to kidnap people from my own area. We rescued a young man from my community because we were courageous, we were determined, and the entire cyclist union and the youths followed us in the chase of that. That is what we call proper community policing. Because when you see a stranger comes into town, you know that this is a stranger. And this is not politics. And so I love your topic when you talk about politics, interest, and governance. Because this act and science of governance should be the interest of all Nigerians, irrespective of political
we don't have too much time now. Lastly, your party, there's an important election coming, which your party also has interest in, Edo State. There's also an election coming up in Ondo State. But it appears all is not well within your party. There's still that internal strife and wranglings that a lot of people are now saying might affect your party's chance on the ballot, especially looking at the case in Edo State. How is all this being resolved? Because it is a big problem on your hands.
At the risk of repeating myself again, I describe that as a storm in a teacup. And I can give you the good news. It's 90% being resolved. We had a Congress, we had primaries that was declared by our party as inconclusive. But before being declared so, Honorable Dennis Idahosa was declared winner. I was in Edo State myself, and I speak as a man that has the fear of God. I speak as a man who truly, truly believed that that exercise was truly inconclusive. And so I rejoiced when
because
the NWC...
Because INEC did not monitor that one.
No, it's not issue of INEC. It's not issue of INEC.
But did INEC monitor
But I don't want to go into the details.
INEC monitor that one? That was
yes, INEC monitored all. INEC monitored all. But the first primaries...
I'm sure of that.
I'm very sure. I was there myself. I was in Edo State.
The parallel elections.
It was not parallel, so to say. People were in the field, but there were two parallel collation centers. I was in Prochi Hotel with my governor, the governor of Imo State, and every other person that was involved. At the other Louis Hotel, or what's the name of that hotel, which was meant to be collation center, and all that happened, and that's why they say it was inconclusive. And I agree with the NWC totally. And I must commend the courage of realizing that we did not do the right thing and were told to go back and do the right thing. And that is why I must come to commend the leadership of the president and our national chairman. And when we went back and conducted our primaries, Senator Monday Okpebolo won. And that is the truth, and nothing but the truth. But the good news is that I can assure you before the next 48 or 96 hours, you will know the resolution that have been taken that is a win-win for everybody involved. All right, so then our resolution is as good as settled.
Our resolution on the program right now is that we are out of time. We'll continue this conversation some other time. Well, that's all on the program this week. Thank you very much for watching. You can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. My conversation has been with the Secretary of the State's APC Forum Chairman, Alphonsus Oga Eba. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.